This is not a quick speed shop. I'm back working on the Ford Econoline Boogie van. I'm putting a receiver hitch on the back, but I don't like how it fits, so we're going to modify it a little bit and make it fit a little bit trickier, a little tighter to the van. And I'm going to show you how I do it right now. I'm a professional. Don't try this at home. Here we are working on a buggy van again, and I want to be able to pull small trailers with this van, and I've got my wagon I take the trips that goes in the receiver, so I had to buy a receiver hitch. Check this thing out. I bought it from, it's a Reese hitch. It's 6,000 pound rated hitch, which is like class 4, I believe. Class 4. It's really nice. It was $128 on the internet. I bought it off Tow Universe, I think. But it's really nice. And it ought to work awesome on here. It's meant for this van. It's got the knockout for the rivets and stuff. So it's going to work out good, except I got to modify it because I don't like how it fits with a bumper. Let me show you. Let me struggle this thing under here. Oh, we'll take a look. Okay, there's the hitch clamped pretty much in place where it would go. But as you can see, look how far it sticks past the bumper. Here it's sticking out almost like 4 or 5 inches, and also it hangs down super low. I'm gonna guess they designed this hitch to work with the styled bumper as well as the step bumper. Some of these vans had step bumpers on them, which would come out to here. I'm gonna guess that's why they designed it like this. Well, obviously I don't have a step bumper, and this is like a big knee knocker sticking out here. I don't like it at all. I want it sucked up tight to the bumper, and also want it back in there like flush with the bottom of the bumper, so it's not really noticeable. So I already looked at this. What I'm going to do, let me get down here. What I'm going to do is mount the brackets here to where they go on the frame, drill them mount them to the frame. Then I'm going to cut the hitch loose, and I'm going to move it back and move it up, and then tack it in place with the welder, and then bring it out and weld it up fully, and probably add like another little couple of gussets. I wouldn't suggest doing this if you're not an experienced welder or have a decent weld to do this. I've built a lot of hitches before and never had a problem. This van's not going to be towing anything except like a small little equipment trailer, which is well within the 6,000 pound limit. They've got this butt welded together just to the frame here. I'm going to add a gusset when I do it to strengthen up even more, so it's going to be fine. And I'm going to use a little bit better hardware than they sent with the kit. Upgrade to grade 8 bolts instead of grade 5. But I just can't live with the look of this thing sticking out so far. It's like a sore thumb. And I could have built my own hitch, but by the time I buy the tube and all the tubing and stuff and the heavy duty angle to make the side pieces, it's almost as much to buy this new and modify it as it is to make my own. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna get my drill out, and I'm gonna drill the frame, get this bolted up. There's gonna be 3 1/2-inch bolts holding it to the bottom of the frame. There should be plenty on each side. There'll be 6 bolts holding it to the frame. Once I got it drilled and mounted, then I can take it off and I can cut these pieces free and then move the hitch where I want it, then tack it back into place. And I step drilling this. I've already drilled it up. I'm gonna go up here with a 1/2-inch this time. There's gonna be a bolt here, a bolt in the middle, and a bolt back here. I had to trim a little bit around my tailpipe, but this has a cutout for factory exhaust, which mine's a little bit different because I built custom exhaust on this thing. But it's going to work out good. I'm just going to drill this one hole and get a bolt in it. Hopefully I won't break my wrist here. Bam. Now I just gotta mount this up here on both sides, and I can take the clamps off and drill one more hole back here, which I can't get to. But this thing mounts right tight to the bottom of the frame. You can see this little dimple here as you go around some rivets for the rear cross member. But this thing is going to be plenty beefy for the amount of trailer action I'm going to be doing here. Okay, I got the hitch bolted up just now so we can take a look at it. And I stuck a hitch into it. You can see just how far down that thing sticks, and just look how far the hitch sticks out of it. That's way too far. Don't need all that room. So now that I've drilled my holes, I can go and I can unbolt the hitch and take it out, and we'll get out the grinder, and I'll cut the tube free from the support pieces over here. And I'll grind them smooth, and then I'll just take the hitch and hold it up in place and mark it where I want to, you know, what looks best. I would like to see how far this receiver sticks way out. I mean the hitch itself, not the receiver. Well, they both do, but I would like to get the hitch, have it way back in here so the receiver is like flush with the bumper, so you know, just got enough room to put the trailer on and it's not sticking out 800 feet past the van. And then this will be a nice flush look. It'll be right in line of the bumper, or maybe just shy of the back of the bumper, so it like disappears. You also see there's probably about 2 inches of gap between the two, so I want to pick it up tight and get this surround, get it like right up close to here to the bumper, maybe like a ½ inch away, so it's like tucked up nice and tight, and it just won't seem like this big hitch hanging off the back of it. You know, it'll be more tucked up, because they didn't really have receiver hitches like this in the 70s. I'm trying to keep the thing like period, but I also want to pull a trailer and stuff. So the most period thing would have been to get like a bumper hitch that bolts onto the bumper here and bolts onto the frame and all that, but they're not really rated for any type of heavy duty towing at all. You know, few thousand pounds maybe, and this bumper is pretty flexible, so the receiver hitch is the right way to go for towing a trailer. But I want to get it up and hidden out of the way so it's not so obtrusive. And when I go out of town to shows like swap meets, when I take this to Hershey, I put my wagon on the back, because I got a bracket that mounts on the receiver, and my wagon rides on the back here, so I need a receiver for that. Sure was a lot of cutting and grinding right there. I got the hitch off, I got the plates back in here, I ground the edges all smooth, and now, I don't know if you can see over my legs. Can you see over my legs? I'll take this now. Let's get an eyeball at it here. This should fit in here, no problem. Oh yeah. That's exactly what I wanted to accomplish. Get it right up by the frame, or right up by the bumper, I mean, and just have it barely stick out past the bumper. That's going to be a ton better, way better. Then I can gusset it a little bit, and it'll be phantasmo. I like it. I like it. I like it already. Oh yeah, that's mint. Yeah, that way it fits right tight to the bumper. It doesn't hang down. You know, about flush with the gas tank and the exhaust system. That's 1,000 times better. Oh yeah. So it's getting late. I can't really weld this tonight because I got to go to bed for work tomorrow. But at least we got our concept laid out here. Got this thing held up and ready to weld in. Okay, it's the next day or next night. Here I'm out working. I've got the hitch tacked up in place here now. I've done. If I can get the light, this light's kind of awkward. I've done measured it and everything's square and equal, so I went and I tacked it in 3 places here. Now I'm ready to pull it out from under the van and weld it up and weld it solid here. Like how the hitch looks. Here now it's flush and the hitch barely sticks out. These are back out of the way where the safety chains go, and it looks good. Everything looks square, and it's not really visible that much. When I trim these legs down, it'll be even more. All you really see is this. So it really sucked it up in there. It's about an inch or so from the frame up in here, and then about maybe an inch from the bumper. So it came out, it sucked in way better than it was. I picked it up a good inch and a half or so, almost 2 inches, and then pulled it back in probably about 3 inches. So it's a lot tighter to the back of the van. Alright, bam, here we go. I've got the hitch trimmed down. I trimmed off the edge that stuck way out here. It wasn't needed anymore because I moved it back and took a little bit off the bottom so it didn't hang down so far. And I think it looks pretty good. It's tucked up in there good. These are nice and sculptured here around the edges down around a little bit. I'm going to add 2 gussets in the back. I'm going to gusset off the tube and gusset onto the inside of this. Big triangle, actually the triangle pieces I cut off here, I think I can use them to gusset back here. They'll just add a little bit more strength to the back of it. But it's going to be, it's not tight, but it's going to be plenty strong. So I think it looks good. Painted all black, you'll hardly see it under there. And for the amount of trailer action, this is going to see small trailers and stuff. This is going to be fine. Okay, here's the gussets I made. These are the pieces I cut out of the front edge when I lopped the edge off here. That's why they got the hole that used to be in the end of the tube in them, but that won't hurt anything. It's still 1/4 inch material, so I'm going to weld it all the way around here. That'll make a nice gusset to tie the side piece in, and this just, you know, a little extra action here, a little bit better than it was originally. Got the one on the driver's side here ready to go. So they're tacked on. All I got to do is weld them up. I'm going to weld them fully around here. Probably hit them on the bottom too on these pieces, and then it'll be ready to go, ready to paint. Okay, bam, check it out. Paint's all dry. Painted a Rust-Oleum satin or semi-gloss black, I should say. And you can see the gussets all there, all painted up, and it looks good. It kind of pretty much matched the paint that was on it before. So now let's go ahead and bolt it up on here. Man, this thing's going to be awesome. I was thinking about wiring. Thought about putting a 7-pin round on because my car trailer has a 7-pin round and all that, but I don't think this van is not heavy enough to pull that big trailer. So I think I'm just going to wire it up with a flat 4 for now with no brake controller. And then if I ever want to haul a trailer that's got a brake controller, I can add that later. But for now, I think I'm just going to put a standard 4 flat on it because this van's not really going to be doing any heavy duty hauling. Like I said, it's just real small trailers, which probably won't have brakes, and then my wagon back here. So I'm going to climb under here, bolt this thing up one more time permanently, and then we will take a final look at it. Bought some new hardware. I got grade 8 bolts. The kit came at grade 5, which must be fine for 6,000 pounds, but I like to use grade 8 on all this stuff, so I bought some grade 8 bolts, and I'm ready to bolt her up on. Here, bam, there we go. It's installed. It looks good. Nice and flush like I want it there, right flush to the back of the bumper. I've got it's got 6 bolts per side, and it looks nice. You see it kind of just sits flush to the bottom of the gas tank and kind of just protects everything and makes a nice solid foundation for a hitch without hanging too low. So I'm really glad that I went and modified that. That looks awesome. It's almost disappears under there. All you see is the hitch sticking out. I went to Tractor Supply Company and they had a deal on a 2-inch ball hitch and pin and everything. It was on sale for $27. It's rated for 6,000 pounds just like the hitch is. So I'll put this in the van. It'll be in there because I'll probably, the size I use most is 2-inch. But I got this loose one here. Let's check this out. You can see a little bit of a stick out here. The hitch will go right on the ball there, no problem. Let's go ahead and give it a bounce test. Oh yeah. So that looks good. It's going to be a super sturdy mount. Perfect for what we're doing here. Bam, just like that. Nice. So for the wiring, unfortunately this van doesn't have a plug like the trucks and stuff a lot of trucks do where you can just plug in a harness. So I'm going to have to splice in here. You got your left turn is the yellow, you got your running light is the brown, and the black is the ground. And then on the other side, over here we got same thing, the ground and the running light and brake light. So I'm going to have to use one of those generic kits here where you splice in just a four flat thing. It's got the clip-on splice pieces, which I don't like ever using because they just lead to corrosion and wire failing. But since this is going inside the van, it's not underneath the van, there won't be any corrosion on it. So I think I'm going to use these on here because there's no other way really to do it without cutting all the wires and splicing them directly. So I will use those splices, but I'm just going to splice on here. I'll probably store the harness on this side of the van. I'll run another wire over and bring it up for the passenger side turn signal, and then I'll just store the harness in here, and when I use it I'll just lay it out under the door seal and hook to the trailer, so that way the wires, when they're not in use, will be stored up inside the van and they won't corrode. Okay, I got the lights hooked up. I brought the passenger side turn signal over here to this side so I can get the harness hanging out here, and it can hang out under the door here. And now might be able to hear the blinker. I got the blinker going. We're going to test the lights here. So I got the harness. I hooked my little probe up to the ground, and then got the marker lights on. So this brown one here is the marker light. So if I go in there, that's lighting up. There, you see that? So that works. And then both the right and left should be flashing because they got the hazards on. There we go. And there we go. So it's working there. As you can see, lights are flashing. And I'm confident that's hooked up correctly. So now I've got my harness here for the trailer hitch. And we're all set for towing action. Well, there we go for now. I've packed everything away in the van. I got the bed in the back. Here's my carpet. You didn't get to see this, but I bought the shag carpet for the interior. That was pretty expensive. There's $300 worth of shag carpet here. Who knew building a boogie van is so expensive? So I got all that, the carpet for the floor and the door panels and stuff. It's the green that matches the green in the center of the cloth here, so that'd be good. Got some other stuff in here, throw it in, the air cleaner, air box. I'm just going to jam some rags in the intake because I got to do some more work on the front of the engine. But everything's packed in here, and this thing is going to go outside and sit in the snow, bam, until the end of winter. When I pull it back in here, or actually I got to work on it outside, got to cut all the plywood, do the Herculiner on the floor, which I need to evaporate outside, do all the plywood, make the door panels when it's warmer out, when the adhesive can stick better. It's just not warm enough now. It's been super, super cold this winter, and I don't have the room in here to do the woodwork, so be doing that out in the driveway in the spring. Probably another month and a half or 2 months or so, get back on this thing. But in the meantime, it's all buttoned up, it's sealed up, everything runs, it doesn't leak oil anymore, and it's ready for springtime boogie van action. So stay tuned to then, and if you want to see some old hot rod action, I'm bringing in my 37 Ford. I'm going to clean this disaster of a shop out the best I can, and we're building my 37 Ford. We're doing a motor swap, tranny swap, rear end swap, added fender skirts, tail dragging it, and getting that thing going so I can hopefully drive that this year as well. So from the boogie van on the early Fords right here, always something happening at the Quick Speed Shop.